Hello and welcome to this ZENworks configuration management tutorial video of installing 11.4.3. In summary, we'll be installing on the Windows 2012 R2 standard server, installing ZENworks Configuration Manager 11.4.0 fresh, activating components and registering with NCC, installing Post ZENworks 11.4.0 Update Prereq, and upgrading to the latest ZCM 11.4.3, and running ZENworks Diagnostic Center along the way. Note, some of the activities shown in this video may not pertain to your environment, and added steps may be needed, but refer to the documentation, and activities in this video may take longer in your environment. Our ZENworks environment is a VMware workstation, which is Windows 2012 R2 standard server, internal certificates, and internal Sybase database. We're installing on a Windows 2012 R2 standard server because ZENworks 2017 has just been released. We want to be able to upgrade without upgrading the Windows OS. We've done all of the preliminary checks, and now we're going to install ZENworks Configuration Manager 11.4 on this Windows 2012 server. This particular server is joined to the domain. I've downloaded the ISO and the updates, as well as the ZDCs that we can do some checking to make sure the integrity of the data is accurate. Let's go ahead and go to E and run the setup. If while it is extracting, you hold the control key down, it will also open up a debug screen that gives additional information during the install. There's your debug screen. We'll move this aside. And we'll start the install of 11SB4. We're going to accept the license agreement, the location of the install. Next, it's going to ask us if we're going into an existing zone or a new management zone. In our case, we're going to do a new management zone. We'll do digital air, password Novell. This is a calculator to determine space estimates depending on the type of database you choose. If we were to select the MSSQL, it would ask if we're using or creating a new database. Same with Oracle. It'll ask us for those parameters. If we were using Oracles and we create a new, it'll ask us for the different ports and service names. We're going to go back here and actually select for the embedded Sybase and select OK. Next, it's asking us for the SSL configuration, whether we're going to use an internal or external CA. If you use an external, it'll then ask you for those keys. We're going to select an internal CA, which then it will create through the install process. And we're going to select install. And this will take a little while. Now that the installation is complete, the post-installation actions are listed here. So we can run the ZENworks Control Center. We can put a shortcut on the desktop and in the Start menu, as well as view the README file and the installation log. Let's go ahead and do that. Hit Next. And when we restart the system, it will be restarting the ZCM system. We show installation results is complete, no errors. We'll select Done. As soon as this wizard goes away, this log will go away. Restarting the server. Let's go ahead and run the ZENworks Diagnostic Center for 11.4. If you run ZDC, it'll give you parameters to request. And if we look in data, we can see the file name required. If you're doing a full check, this will take a few minutes. Now that that's complete, we can then go to the reports. Zen database report shows good. All required tables and procedures and views. And the system files look good. And they should, since this is a brand new install. We requested it to open up ZENworks Control Center, so let's log in. You'll get this notification, at which time you'll need to go and put in your licensing, because this is a new install. So you can see the ZENworks suite is not licensed. We are currently on evaluation mode for some of the components. We have one server, which is our primary server. Pretty much everything else is ready to be used. We are going to upgrade to the Post. Let's go to a command prompt. And our Post update for 11.4 needs to be installed prior to any other updates above 11.4. Okay, now that we've done a ZMan system update import, we can go over to our system updates in ZCC and see that it's downloading. This particular warning is because our entitlement is not configured. Entitlement is located here, system update settings. We need to activate this to get system updates. I will go ahead and do that. So we have activated and show that the entitlement is active now. We can then check for updates either through a recurring schedule or manually, as well as a download schedule. If we go back to system updates, we should have a completely downloaded Post. We will authorize this update. We will now go and do the Post and then run the 11.4.3. This Post is specifically for primary servers and just restarts the services. It doesn't need a restart of the server itself. We'll do a check for updates. Another way to check for updates is ZAC Zeus ref. Since in 11.4 the system update components have been broken out of the agent, you can do a ZAC Zeus refresh to check for system updates. And it looks like it's starting. And we'll let it do its install. Okay, we'll go ahead and log in again. Let the server report back in so that it can show successful. And we'll start downloading the 11.4.3. We can use a zman-sui command like that. Or if we have NCC configured, you can get these updates directly from NCC. Now that we're registered, we can schedule this as well for any recurring updates. Have the system automatically check. Let's go back to system updates. Request a check for updates. So we're going to select the 11.4.3. Take a minute for it to process. So it's downloading now from NCC directly, and it will do the checksum verification on its own. Whereas if we do a zman-sui, we want to make sure we check the checksum prior to importing into this system update for ZENworks. We can also download the latest PRU since it's available. Notice 11.4.2 and 11.4.1 went away because 11.4.3 supersedes them. If we look at the pending status, you'll notice that the server is actually rebuilding the deployment packages. It's on 10 of 21. So it should be done shortly, and then we'll have a success. Now that it's downloaded, let's go ahead and run the update for 11.4.3. I'm going to first have to authorize it. And now we'll go ahead and deploy the update to the server. And this will take a little while. We'll watch for it to finish. As you can see, the update is pending. The update is assigned. Also note that since all of the primary servers were completed, the post update prereq has been baselined. and is no longer in the deploying system updates location. We'll check for system updates. One way to tell if the system update is kicked off is to note the GUID of the system update. In this case, this GUID here, this is 11.4.3. And if we go to our directories where it's installed, and if we were to look in logs system update, we can see that something has started because it created the directory. If we look in the system update file, we can see that it's getting content for install steps of the update. This is the file that has the status of your update. We can also see under ZENworks work content repo system update that it has been downloaded, so it's ready to go. And if we look at work system update, it hasn't created this directory yet, so it hasn't started extracting yet. But it should happen anytime soon because of your log under system update in 11.4.3. Notice the update commands is now in there, and this has gotten a little bit larger. Now it's checking the update service and doing some other preliminaries before it kicks off. And notice down here we have the ZENworks update. So we'll let that complete. We can log out of ZCC because it will terminate those services anyhow and reboot. Now that the update's complete, a reboot is required. If not, it'll reboot automatically within 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and select OK. Now that we are logged in, let's look at the control center. In the first part of the install of 11.4.3, it talks about telemetry, which is new in 11.4.1. So we can configure now, which will take us to the configuration screen and ask us a couple questions about telemetry. It'll send mandatory data to Novell, which are these items here. But if you want to allow optional data, you can. Gives us ways to better improve the ZENworks configuration management if we know some of the details. There is no confidential information that's sent across the wire regarding your systems. So at this point in time, telemetry schedule is Saturday at 10 o'clock p.m. And you can gather now. We can just hit OK and it's pretty much configured by default. Then if we go to configuration system updates, we should see one that it's at 11.4.3 here. It's baselined because there's only one device in the zone. So all devices have been upgraded to 11.4.3, so it baselines. Which also means that there's been enough time to where it has actually rebuilt the packages, including the 11.4.3 update for the ZENworks agents. Now let's run ZDC. You have to run the ZDC that's for the version you currently are running. So we'll go to the 11.4.3 ZDC. This will give us the parameters. Let's go find the data file. So it'll be in 11.4.3 under data. It's called ZCM 11.4.3.zdc. So now we can type our command. And this will take a minute to run. Okay, let's see what the results are. Go to reports, and we'll go ZENworks System Files Verifier. All files are good. And all database procedures views are good. So we're looking good there. Our 11.4.3 has been updated and verified. And because it's the first server and the only server in here, it's all baselined. We can now start configuring bundles, importing devices, set up our users, do other configurations on our zone. So Digital Air Zone is up and running. Some system install update best practices and reminders. Be sure to read the documentation and prerequisites for the installed environment. Backup or snapshot of the database and primary server before starting. Manual system update, import SUI command. If using this, verify the integrity of the downloaded file with the MD5 checksum tool. Do not remove older available system updates in the ZCC, at least until 11.4.1 or higher is baselined, meaning all devices are baselined to 11.4.1 or higher. Also, do not extract archived ISOs or zip files. Be sure to run the ZDC before and after any upgrades. Before deploying the ZENworks agent, confirm that replication packages are at 100% complete on all primary servers, and update is completed on all primaries and satellite servers before deploying to the managed devices. Some documentation is listed here. An upgrade cookbook for version 11 in 2017 is also listed, as well as the TIDs for those upgrades that we did in this video. Some product component locations. The customer portal has product install files, activation codes, and registration keys, along with the download and patch finder has ZENworks Diagnostic Center versions and ZENworks incremental updates. This concludes our ZENworks Configuration Management version 11.4.3 install tutorial video.